Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in life when the noise of the world gets so loud that you can no longer hear the whisper of your own soul. A moment when you realize you've been chasing people, possessions, and positions while losing sight of the one person you were supposed to discover all along yourself. You see, most people are living life on autopilot. They wake up every day, not because they're excited about life, but because the alarm clock said it's time to survive another day. They move through life doing what's expected, not what's authentic. They wear masks to fit in when they were born to stand out. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your whole life trying to become what the world wants instead of becoming who you truly are. Let me tell you something. The hardest person you'll ever have to meet in your life is you. You can move to another city, change your clothes, switch jobs, get a new phone number, but until you meet the person inside, you'll always feel like something's missing. Because it's not the world that's holding you back. It's the version of yourself you haven't met yet. Self-discovery isn't pretty. It's not candles and meditation. It's messy. It's facing the truth about yourself, your fears, your failures, your fake smiles. It's crying over the things you never healed from. It's admitting that you've been your own biggest obstacle. It's realizing that the person you're becoming can't exist until you let go of the person you were pretending to be. And let me tell you, there's power in that realization. When you finally stop trying to impress people who don't care, when you stop running from your own reflection, when you stop dimming your light to make others comfortable, you begin to live from a place of truth. That's where peace lives. That's where power lives. That's where purpose begins to breathe again. Listen, life isn't about finding yourself somewhere out there. Life is about creating yourself from the inside out. You are the sculptor and the sculpture. You are the painter and the portrait. Every decision you make, every risk you take, every pain you face, it's all shaping the masterpiece that is you. But here's the truth. Self-discovery demands isolation. It demands that you walk away from the crowd for a while, that you sit with your thoughts instead of drowning them in distractions. Because clarity doesn't come from noise. It comes from stillness. You can't hear your purpose when you're surrounded by people who profit from your confusion. Sometimes you got to disappear for a while to come back unrecognizable. So ask yourself, who am I when the lights are off? Who am I when nobody's watching, when nobody's clapping, when there's no validation, no attention? That's where the real discovery happens, when you strip away the world's opinions and finally meet the person God designed you to be. I'm telling you, there's a version of you the world hasn't seen yet. A stronger you, a wiser you, a more confident, courageous, unstoppable you. But that version won't appear until you decide, I'm done living small. I'm done pretending. I'm done apologizing for being me. This is your season of discovery. The moment you stop looking outside for the answers and start looking within for the truth. Because once you know who you are, really know it, nobody can tell you who you're not. So stop searching for approval and start searching for authenticity. Stop chasing popularity and start chasing purpose. Because the greatest journey you'll ever take is the one that leads you back home to yourself. And 10K points, Les Brown style, the hardest person to meet is yourself. Real growth begins when you stop running from your reflection and start confronting your truth. You can't find yourself in others. Stop expecting people to give you an identity they can't define what they didn't create. Pain is your greatest teacher. Every wound you've suffered holds a lesson about who you are and who you're meant to become. Silence reveals your strength. Growth doesn't happen in the noise. It happens in the quiet moments of reflection. Stop wearing masks. You can't become real while living fake. Authenticity is your superpower. Let go to grow. You can't discover the new you while clinging to the old you. Isolation breeds revelation. The version of you that's waiting to rise can only appear when you're willing to stand alone. Purpose lives within you. Stop chasing external validation. Your meaning comes from what's inside, not what's around you. Courage creates clarity. You won't find out who you are until you step into the unknown and risk being misunderstood. Become your own masterpiece. You are not meant to be a copy. You are meant to be the original, the one only you can create. Would you like me to expand each key point into a 600, 700-word motivational segment, like a Les Brown live speech for each point? That would make it a complete power-packed stage speech series on self-discovery. The hardest person you will ever have to meet in this life is you. You can travel the world, you can meet thousands of people, you can chase opportunities, applause, and attention, but none of it will ever mean anything until you come face to face with the real you. That person behind the smile. The one who hides behind success, behind fear, behind other people's expectations. The truth is, most people never truly meet themselves. They meet who they've been told to be. They meet the version of themselves that pleases others, that fits in, that doesn't cause trouble. But they never meet the one buried underneath, the one who's been whispering all along, "This isn't who I really am." When you begin this journey of self-discovery, it's not going to feel good. It's not going to be easy, because you're not just meeting yourself. You're confronting the lies you've lived by. You're facing your insecurities, your regrets, your wounds, your weaknesses. It's uncomfortable. It's painful, but it's necessary. You can't heal what you won't acknowledge, and you can't grow from what you keep running from. You have to stop pretending and start being. You have to strip away the layers you've built to protect yourself and be willing to look at who's underneath all of that armor. Now, the hardest part about meeting yourself is realizing how much of your life was built on fear. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of not being enough. And every decision that fear made for you took you further away from who you were meant to be. You said yes when you wanted to say no. You stayed quiet when your heart was screaming to speak. You went left when your spirit said go right. All because you didn't trust your own voice. You were waiting for someone else to validate your worth, to confirm your value, to tell you who you are, but no one can do that for you. Because the only person who truly knows your story, your pain, your dreams, your heart, is you. You have to be willing to stand still long enough to meet that person. Because we live in a world that keeps us distracted. We scroll to avoid thinking. We stay busy to avoid feeling. We chase goals that don't belong to us just to look successful to people who don't care. But when the noise dies down, when the lights go off, and it's just you and your thoughts, that's when the truth comes knocking. That's when you meet yourself. That's when you realize that the person you've been waiting to become has been waiting for you all along. You can't run from you. No matter how far you go, no matter how many people you impress, you'll always feel that emptiness inside until you face your reflection. Because deep down, your soul knows when you're living beneath your potential. It knows when you're faking it. It knows when you're settling. And it will keep tugging at you, whispering, "There's more in you." That's not guilt. That's not pressure. That's purpose trying to wake you up. When you finally decide to meet yourself, you'll have to break some patterns. You'll have to stop blaming others for who you've become. You'll have to forgive people who never apologized. You'll have to forgive yourself for the times you didn't know better. You'll have to accept that your past was not a punishment. It was preparation. Every mistake, every heartbreak, every setback was shaping you for this moment of awareness. Because the version of you that's standing here right now is ready to meet the real one waiting within. There's power in that meeting. Because once you know who you are, you stop settling for less. You stop chasing what doesn't align with your truth. You stop shrinking yourself for people who can't handle your light. You stop explaining your worth to those who can't see it. You walk differently. You speak differently. You carry a quiet confidence that says, I know who I am, and that kind of power nobody can take from you. But here's the thing. Meeting yourself isn't a one-time event. It's a lifelong relationship. You'll meet new versions of yourself as you grow, as you heal, as you evolve. You'll outgrow people, places, and even dreams that once fit you perfectly. That's not loss, that's transformation. That's what self-discovery is about. It's not just finding yourself. It's creating yourself again and again with deeper understanding and greater truth each time. So don't run from that encounter. Don't fear the silence. Don't avoid the mirror. Look into your own eyes and ask, who am I really? Because the moment you're brave enough to answer honestly, that's the moment your life begins to change. That's the moment you stop living in pieces and start living in peace. That's when you finally meet the person you were always meant to become. And once you do, you'll realize something powerful. That the hardest person to meet was also the most rewarding. You can't find yourself in others. That's the truth most people spend a lifetime running from. We grow up thinking that our value depends on how people see us. How much they like us, how much they approve of us, how many followers we have, how often they clap when we walk into the room. But the problem is, when you tie your identity to someone else's opinion, you give them the power to define you. And the moment they change their mind about you, your whole world starts to crumble. You start questioning your worth, your beauty, your purpose, because you let someone else hold the pen that was meant to write your story. Let me tell you something. You can't discover yourself through people who don't even know who they are. You can't keep searching for your reflection in someone else's mirror. You'll spend your life trying to fit into other people's expectations, shrinking yourself to make them comfortable, pretending to be what they want, and in the process, you lose yourself. You forget your own dreams because you're too busy living for their approval. You forget your own voice because you're trying to echo theirs. And one day you wake up wondering, who am I? Not because you don't have an identity, but because you handed it away piece by piece just to feel accepted. Some of you are exhausted. Not because life is too hard, but because you've been trying to be someone you're not for too long. You've been bending, changing, and performing just to earn love, validation, or recognition. But here's the truth. Real love, real peace, and real confidence don't come from what people think about you. They come from what you think about yourself. You'll never be free until you stop living for applause and start living for alignment. Until you stop chasing validation and start chasing authenticity. Because no matter how much approval you collect, it will never fill the emptiness that comes from not knowing who you are. You can't keep waiting for people to tell you you're enough. You have to decide that for yourself. You have to look in the mirror and say, I am enough. Even when no one claps for you, even when no one agrees, even when no one notices your efforts. That's where true power begins. When you stop needing someone to agree with your greatness before you step into it. You don't need a crowd to confirm your worth. You were valuable the moment you took your first breath. You were chosen before anyone ever approved of you. But as long as you keep chasing external validation, you'll stay a prisoner to other people's opinions. Sometimes you'll have to walk away from people you love. Not because they're bad, but because they can't see the real you. They only see the version of you that serves their comfort. The version that doesn't challenge them. But when you start growing, when you start changing, when you start discovering your true self, they won't always celebrate that. They'll question it. They'll say you've changed. And they're right, you have. Because you can't stay the same and still grow into your purpose. You can't keep pretending and still walk in your truth. And if your truth costs you some relationships, then so be it. Because peace with yourself is more valuable than popularity with others. You'll never find yourself in a relationship, a friendship, a title, or a position. You'll find yourself in stillness, in solitude, in honesty. You'll find yourself in those moments when no one's watching and no one's validating you. When it's just you and your heart. That's when you hear your own voice again. That's when you remember what matters to you. What sets your soul on fire? What gives your life meaning? That's where your identity lies, not in other people's opinions, but in your own conviction. And here's something powerful to understand. When you stop depending on people to make you feel valuable, you stop being controlled by their absence. You stop begging for attention. You stop breaking yourself trying to fix people who can't even see your worth. You stop waiting for someone to pick you when you've already been chosen. That's what happens when you find your value from within. You move different, you speak different, you walk different, because you realize that you were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out. It's time to stop outsourcing your self-worth. It's time to stop giving people permission to decide who you are. You are not defined by who left, who doubted you, or who misunderstood you. You are defined by who you become in spite of it all. Because when you stop looking for yourself in others, that's when you finally find the real you. That's when you stop needing validation and start living in liberation. Pain is your greatest teacher. It doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to develop you. But most people run from it. They numb it, hide it, bury it, and pretend it doesn't exist. Yet every time you avoid pain, you rob yourself of the wisdom it carries. It's because pain doesn't show up to punish you. It shows up to prepare you. It's not your enemy. It's the mirror life holds up to show you what still needs healing, what still needs understanding, and what still needs to grow. You see, it's easy to talk about strength when everything's going right. It's easy to smile when the sun is shining, when the bills are paid, and when people are clapping for you. But true strength, real strength, is forged in the fire. It's built in the dark. In the nights when you cry yourself to sleep, in the moments when your heart feels shattered, when you're down to nothing but faith and hope, that's where the real you is born. Pain doesn't just test you, it reveals you. It exposes who you are when the masks fall, when the noise fades, when there's nothing left but truth. The truth is, pain teaches you things comfort never could. Comfort keeps you asleep. Pain wakes you up. Comfort tells you to stay where it's safe. Pain tells you it's time to grow. Comfort whispers that you're fine as you are. Pain shouts that you're capable of more. You don't grow through what feels good. You grow through what challenges you. And sometimes, the very thing that hurt you the most ends up becoming the very thing that taught you the most. I know it's hard to see that when you're in it. When your heart is breaking, when you lose someone you love, when your dream falls apart, when life hits you so hard you can barely breathe, it's hard to believe that anything good could come from that. But every painful experience carries a hidden gift. It carries insight, strength, empathy, resilience. Pain deepens your understanding of life. It humbles you. It breaks your ego so your soul can rise. It teaches you compassion because you've known what it feels like to suffer. It gives you a voice that can speak to others who are hurting because you've been there too. You see, pain will either make you bitter or it will make you better, and that choice is yours. Some people let pain define them. They hold on to it, replay it, build walls around it. But others, they let it refine them. They take the lessons, they let go of the bitterness, and they use that pain as fuel to move forward. The question isn't, why did this happen to me? The real question is, what is this trying to teach me? Because if you keep asking that question, you'll always find meaning, even in the mess. And once you find meaning, pain loses its power to control you. Don't resent the seasons of struggle. They're the birthplace of strength. Every scar tells a story of survival. Every tear waters the seed of wisdom. Every disappointment pushes you closer to self-awareness. Pain doesn't just change you, it introduces you to parts of yourself you didn't even know existed. It reveals how strong, how resilient, how unbreakable you truly are. And that's something you would have never discovered without walking through the fire. Some of the most beautiful transformations happen after the most painful experiences. The person you become after you heal is wiser, softer, stronger, more grounded. You stop chasing shallow things. You stop tolerating nonsense. You stop needing to be liked. Pain simplifies your life. It burns away everything that's fake until only truth remains. It leaves you with clarity about who you are and what really matters. But you've got to let pain do its work. Stop rushing to escape it. Stop trying to skip the process. Healing isn't instant. It's not linear. Some days you'll feel fine, and others, the same wound will sting again. But that's how growth works. You keep learning, you keep showing up, you keep choosing to move forward, even when it hurts. Because one day you'll look back on what once broke you, and you'll see that it built you. You'll see that the very pain you cursed became the foundation of your strength, and you'll realize that you needed it. Every heartbreak, every failure, every setback, it all shaped you into someone who refuses to give up. So the next time life hurts, don't ask, why me? Ask, what now? Don't run from the pain. Sit with it, listen to it, learn from it. Let it teach you, let it stretch you, let it shape you. Because pain isn't here to end you. It's here to evolve you. And once you embrace that truth, you'll stop fearing the storm, because you'll understand that the storm is the reason you learn to stand. Silence reveals your strength. You'll never really know how powerful you are until you learn to be still. Most people can't handle silence because silence exposes the truth. It strips away distractions. It removes the noise. It leaves you face to face with your own thoughts. And that's where the real battle begins. In the silence, you can't hide behind your job, your phone, your relationships, or your excuses. In the silence, it's just you. And that's where you discover who you really are. We live in a world that glorifies noise. Everybody's talking, posting, scrolling, probing, comparing. People are so busy trying to be seen that they forget to see themselves. They confuse movement with progress, noise with purpose, attention with value. But true power doesn't come from how loud you can be. It comes from how still you can remain when life shakes you. Silence is where clarity lies. Silence is where you hear the whisper of your intuition, the guidance of your spirit, and the direction of your next move. And you can't hear that if your life is filled with constant chatter. Sometimes silence feels uncomfortable because it confronts us. It shows us how restless we really are, how easily distracted, how desperate we become for validation. But if you can sit in that stillness long enough, you'll start to understand that peace isn't found outside. It's found within. The quiet teaches you that you don't always need to respond. You don't always need to prove. You don't always need to defend. When you truly know who you are, you don't have to say much. Your energy speaks louder than your words ever could. There's a deep kind of strength in silence. It's the strength that comes from discipline, from patience, from restraint. It's the strength of someone who doesn't panic when life gets hard, who doesn't need to broadcast every step, who can trust the process even when they can't explain it. You see, people think silence means weakness, but it's the opposite. Silence is confidence under control. It's self-assurance without performance. It's saying, I don't need to prove myself. I know who I am. Some of the greatest transformations in your life will happen in silence. You'll outgrow people quietly. You'll heal quietly. You'll rebuild quietly. You'll shift your mindset quietly. And when it's time, your results will speak so loudly that you won't have to say a word. You don't need to announce every move. You don't need to convince anyone of your growth. Let your peace do the talking. Let your consistency speak for itself. Because when you move in silence, you protect your energy from people who don't understand your journey. In the silence, You also learn discernment. You learn how to separate what's urgent from what's important. You begin to realize that not every battle deserves your reaction. Not every opinion deserves your energy. Not every invitation deserves your presence. You stop chasing noise and start choosing peace. Because you understand that peace isn't the absence of problems. It's the mastery of stillness in the middle of them. Some of you have been praying for clarity, for answers, for direction. But you can't receive clarity in chaos. You have to quiet the room. You have to stop letting everyone else's voice be louder than your own. Because sometimes the universe isn't silent because it has nothing to say. It's silent because it's waiting for you to listen. You've been moving too fast, chasing too much, listening to everyone but yourself. And that's why you feel lost. The answers are already inside you, but you'll only hear them in the quiet. There's something sacred about learning to be alone without feeling lonely. When you can sit in silence and feel peace instead of panic, that's when you know you've grown. That's when you've built a foundation so strong that nothing external can shake it. Because silence is not emptiness. It's fullness. It's connection. It's the space where you recharge, where you reconnect with your own power, where you remember that you don't need to be everything for everyone. You just need to be true to yourself. And yes, silence will cost you something. It will cost you people who can't handle your calm. It will cost you opportunities that thrive on chaos. It will cost you relationships that depend on drama. But what you gain in return, peace, purpose, and presence, is worth far more. Because when you find strength in silence, you no longer chase things that disturb your spirit. You stop reacting to every noise that tries to pull you out of alignment. You start choosing yourself. So take a step back. Turn down the volume of the world. Stop explaining yourself to people who will never understand your silence. Learn to rest in your stillness. Learn to listen to that quiet voice that says, you are enough. You are growing. You are guided. Because that's the voice that will carry you when the world goes silent. And when you master that silence, you'll realize something powerful. True strength was never about how loud you could be. It was about how still you could stay while everything around you was stop wearing masks. You can't become real while living fake. You can't discover your true self while hiding behind the version of you that's been shaped by fear pressure or the desire to fit in. Somewhere along the way, we were taught that being ourselves wasn't enough, that we had to perform, adjust, and edit who we are just to be accepted. So we built masks. Masks that smile when we're hurting. Masks that agree when our spirit is screaming no. Masks that look confident while our hearts are shaking. But let me tell you something. There's no freedom in pretending. There's no peace in being loved for a version of yourself that isn't real. We wear masks because we're afraid. Afraid of being rejected, misunderstood, or abandoned. We think that if people saw the real us, the messy, flawed, imperfect us, they'd turn away. So we play roles, hoping that if we can be who they want us to be, they'll stay. But every time you hide who you really are, you're teaching yourself a dangerous lesson, that your truth isn't worth being seen. And that's how people lose themselves. They become prisoners in their own performance, trapped behind a smile that doesn't belong to them. You can't heal while pretending to be whole. You can't grow while denying what's real. The moment you decide to drop the mask, life begins to shift, because authenticity is magnetic. When you stop pretending, you start attracting. The people meant for you will recognize you. The opportunities meant for you will find you. You'll realize that the things you lost while trying to be real were never meant for you in the first place. They were attached to the mask, not to your soul. There's something powerful about showing up as yourself. No filters, no faking, no apology. It's scary at first because being real means being vulnerable. It means standing there without your armor, trusting that your truth is enough. But that's where your strength is. Real power doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being honest. It comes from saying, this is me, flawed, growing, learning, and still worthy. That kind of honesty can't be shaken because it's not built on approval, it's built on truth. And here's the thing, you can't fool your soul. You can fake it to others, but deep down, you know when you're not living true. You know when you're bending to please, when you're smiling through pain, and when you're agreeing just to keep peace. You can feel it, that heaviness, that exhaustion. It's not from doing too much. It's from being too much of what you're not. The weight of pretending will always crush the peace of being. When you live behind masks, you rob the world of your gift. There's something you carry, something unique, something divine that no one else can bring. But that gift can't shine through layers of performance. You've got to be real to be powerful. You've got to stop dimming your light just because others can't handle its brightness. Don't apologize for your authenticity. Don't water down your truth to make people comfortable. The ones who are meant to walk with you will never ask you to hide who you are. Dropping the mask isn't about being reckless or rude. It's about being honest. It's about aligning your words with your truth, your actions with your heart, your choices with your values. It's about being the same person in private that you are in public. It's about not needing to switch up to be accepted. And the moment you start living like that, you'll feel lighter. You'll feel peace. Because authenticity may cost you relationships, but it will buy you freedom. Some of you are suffocating, not because life is hard, but because you're trying to breathe through layers of disguise. You've been pretending for so long that you've forgotten what your real voice sounds like. But here's the good news. You can always take the mask off. You can always start over. You can always choose truth. And yes, some people might walk away when they see the real you. But let them. Because the ones who stay, that's your tribe. That's your circle. That's your peace. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs your originality. It needs your flaws, your wisdom, your authenticity. Because when you show up as you give others permission to do the same. You become a light for someone who's been hiding behind their own mask. You show them that it's okay to be human. It's okay to be seen. It's okay to be imperfect and still be enough. So stop pretending. Stop performing. Stop living small to fit into spaces that weren't built for your truth. Take off the mask. Let the world see the real you. Because the moment you do, you'll realize something beautiful. Being real may not make you popular, but it will make you free. Let go to grow. Those 4 words can change your entire life if you truly understand them. Because most people are not stuck because they don't have potential. They're stuck because they're holding on to what's no longer serving them. Holding on to people who've already let go. Holding on to habits that keep them small. Holding on to memories that keep them wounded. And as long as your hands are full of what used to be, you'll never be able to receive what's meant to be. You can't step into your next chapter if you're still berating the last one. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you forget. It means you stop allowing the past to control the direction of your future. It means you stop giving your energy to what drains you and start giving it to what grows you. You have to understand, growth and comfort can't coexist. You can't hold on to what's safe and familiar while expecting transformation. Growth will always require release. Sometimes that release feels like loss, but it's really alignment. Because everything and everyone that leaves your life isn't rejection, it's redirection. We hold on because we're afraid. Afraid of change. Afraid of being alone. Afraid that if we let go, we'll have nothing left. But here's the truth. When you let go of what's not meant for you, you make space for what is. Life has a way of replacing what you've released with something greater, something deeper, something that matches who you're becoming. But if you keep clinging to old versions of yourself, you'll block the blessings that belong to your new season. You can't fly if you're still carrying the weight of yesterday. There are people and situations that once fit you perfectly, but you've outgrown them, you've evolved. And it's okay. Stop trying to shrink yourself to fit places your spirit has outgrown. Stop returning to what broke you just because it feels familiar. You owe it to yourself to move forward, even if it hurts. Because sometimes the pain of letting go is the price of peace, and peace is worth that price. Some of you are holding on to anger, to guilt, to shame. You're replaying mistakes that can't be changed, reliving moments that are already over. You can't heal while you're constantly reopening the same wound. You can't receive joy while holding on to resentment. You've got to release it. You've got to forgive. Not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve freedom. Forgiveness isn't for them. It's for you. It's the act of saying, I choose not to carry this pain anymore. Because the longer you hold on, the heavier it gets. Growth always requires sacrifice. You'll have to let go of people who don't want to grow with you. You'll have to let go of habits that once comforted you, but now limit you. You'll have to let go of mindsets that once protected you, but now imprison you. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. Growth will stretch you, test you, and sometimes even break you, but it will also elevate you. Because every time you let go, you rise a little higher. Don't be afraid to close doors. The same door that brought you peace once might now be blocking your purpose. Some endings aren't failures. They're transitions. They're life's way of clearing the path so you can see the next step clearly. You can't build the future while staying attached to the past. You can't evolve while you're still trying to make the old version of you fit into your new life. It takes courage to let go. It takes faith to walk away from what you know to what you can't yet see. But faith is about trusting that even if you lose something good, something greater is on the way. You've got to believe that releasing doesn't mean losing. It means making room for what's coming. The more you let go, the more you grow into who you were meant to be. There's freedom waiting for you on the other side of release. There's peace waiting for you when you stop fighting to keep what's trying to leave. There's strength waiting for you when you stop resisting change and start embracing it. You can't keep watering dead plants and expecting them to bloom. You can't keep revisiting old pain and expecting new peace. You have to trust that letting go is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new one. So take a deep breath. Loosen your grip and trust the process. Let go of what's heavy. Let go of what hurts. Let go of what no longer aligns with who you're becoming. Because when you finally release what's behind you, you'll discover something beautiful. The weight you were carrying wasn't yours to bear anymore. And the moment you let it go, you'll rise higher than you ever imagined. Isolation breeds revelation. There comes a time in your life when you've got to walk alone. Not because you want to, but because that's the only way you'll hear your own voice. Sometimes God, the universe, or life itself will pull you away from the crowd, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Because there are lessons you can't learn in company. There are truths you can't see when you're surrounded by noise. And there's a version of you that can only be born in silence, in solitude, in that sacred space where it's just you, your thoughts, and your purpose. Most people fear isolation. They think being alone means being lonely, but the two are not the same. Loneliness is when you can't stand your own company. Isolation is when you finally learn to value it. It's when you realize you don't need a crowd to validate your worth. You don't need applause to confirm your direction. You don't need constant chatter to feel alive. Because when you truly begin to grow, your energy shifts, and not everyone will understand it. You'll start craving peace more than attention, purpose more than approval, and alignment more than acceptance. And when that happens, the crowd will thin. People will fall off. And that's okay. Everyone who starts with you isn't meant to finish with you. See, isolation is like a spiritual detox. It removes the distractions, the noise, and the illusions that kept you from seeing yourself clearly. It forces you to confront your thoughts, your fears, your habits, your truth. It's uncomfortable, yes, but that's where revelation happens. That's where you start to realize what you truly want, what you truly believe, and who you truly are. Because when you're surrounded by too many voices, it's easy to confuse their opinions for your intuition. It's easy to chase what looks good instead of what feels right. But in isolation, you start hearing that still, small voice again, the one you used to ignore, the one that's been guiding you all along. There are things you can only discover about yourself in silence. When everything around you stops moving, you begin to see what's been moving inside you all along. You begin to notice the patterns that keep repeating. You begin to realize that some of the pain you've been blaming others for came from the wounds you refused to heal. You begin to understand that solitude isn't empty. It's full of answers you've been too distracted to hear. But here's what most people don't understand. Revelation comes with separation. You can't get a clear vision while living in confusion. You can't hear your purpose while entertaining chaos. Sometimes life will pull you into a season where everything slows down, doors close, people distance, and things stop making sense. And your first instinct will be to panic. You'll ask, why is this happening to me? But it's not happening to you. It's happening for you. That's life saying, I need your full attention now. I need you to see what I've been trying to show you. When you embrace isolation, you stop running from yourself. You stop seeking comfort in noise and start finding strength in stillness. You stop depending on others for direction and start trusting your own guidance. You stop reacting to every voice around you and start listening to the one within you. That's where maturity begins. That's where transformation starts. Because real growth doesn't happen when you're surrounded by a crowd. It happens when you're alone with your truth. Don't fear being alone. Fear staying surrounded by the wrong energy. Some people can't go where you're going. Some relationships can't survive where you're headed. And that's not rejection, that's realignment. Isolation is not punishment. It's preparation. It's the process that shapes you into the person who can handle what you've been asking for. Because sometimes you're praying for elevation, but you're still connected to things that can't go that high. You can't take everyone to the top with you. Some people are only meant to walk with you to the gate, not through it. When you come out of isolation, you'll come out different, wiser, stronger, clearer. The things that used to shake you won't even move you anymore. The opinions that used to break you won't even reach you anymore. You'll stop seeking validation because you'll realize that everything you needed was already inside you. And that revelation, that quiet, powerful awareness will become your foundation. So if you're in a season of isolation right now, don't rush through it. Don't try to fill the silence. Don't run back to the noise that once distracted you. Sit with it. Listen. Learn. Because life is trying to tell you something. And when you finally hear it, when you finally see what you couldn't before, you'll realize that the isolation that once felt like emptiness was actually the womb of your next breakthrough. And when that revelation comes, you'll understand that you were never alone. You were being refined. Because isolation doesn't break you. It builds you.